what's going on? This is 3/10/26 market review, and basically I took about like one trade, but I exited pretty early. That's about it. Let me just pull up the charts. All right, let's just go over the trade that I took before I go over anything else. As I stated yesterday, it will look like we were kind of in a market maker model, though it wasn't really ideal, but you can kind of see it. We went from a death profile to a trend profile, marked off any large higher time frame fair value gaps that I saw, mainly on the 4 hour. Then I headed down in time frame. Did the same thing with ES, and I believe I took the trade on ES because I think it was respecting PD arrays unlike NQ. So I just didn't bother taking the trade on NQ. Um yeah, I mean this trade would have played out if I was targeting this low right here. But the main reason I didn't stay in this trade is mainly because market maker model, and I'm going for a short after we distributed. So it's like, you know, not really ideal for a trade. Fuck, bro. I'm like tired as fuck. Sick. This isn't exactly an ideal shorting position either. Considering where the last wick landed, I should have kind of expected a long, but basically I entered. Um, Shit, dude, I can't fucking see it. All right, so it was market open, and I kind of already saw this big like push into the downside, and we know kind of how NQ plays with the big pushes, or just overall the ES and NQ pair, how they usually play in New York opening. So I just marked out the highest time frame, a fair value gap. Wait for that get inversed. We can see some LRL built up right here. Not as much here. Just this is just a major low that I kind of wanted to get taken. I was targeting this 4 hour fair value gap, hoping it would trace back to it. I don't think neither pair traced back to it, but as you can see on NQ, we had a equal low. So we definitely had some SMT there, some major SMT at that. And going into the session, we also had some SMT. Yeah, yeah, we had bearish SMT. So that's kind of what swayed my opinion on the whole trade. I was gonna, if this pair, wait, do we? No, the fuck we didn't. Yeah, no, I'm tripping. Yeah, no, we didn't have SMT. I don't know what I'm smoking. I know we had SMT somewhere. I remember marking out SMT, but I think this is the only SMT that we had. So we had bullish SMT, which we rejected off of. And I was hoping for more support would head down to the 4 hour fair value gap, which we didn't. Uh, Also another reason I love this trade, if you head down in time frame, you can kind of see like this huge back and forth between buyers and sellers. So on the 5 minute, it created like these huge wicks that it would just go back and forth. It would just keep like bouncing back and forth. And I believe I exited right around here on this wick, right before it fully broke this 15-minute fair value gap. Right here. It was respecting it for the most part. Like it hasn't broken it on the 15-minute chart until like this candle, which I exited on. That's pretty much it for ES and Q. I mean, is this trade an A plus? No. What also swayed, like another thing, because I keep adding on to this shit, which I'm not trying to just make an excuse, but the previous day I just made 1,000, so I wasn't forcing myself to stay in the trade because I was already up on the week. So if I enter the trade and I'm like, dude, with all these confluences and the way price action is moving, is it really worth for me to stay in the trade? I just had way too many doubts, way too many questions about the way the price was moving. So I just decided on, taking it easy and then just straight up closing the trade. And I believe I made about $35. So I just made 35 and then I closed it, called it a day, closed the charts, took a little break from the market. Isn't exactly the best way to end the day, but like I didn't take a loss and I just respected my own peace. I think that's a little bit more important than making fucking 3K on the day. On MGC, on gold, I marked this trade off, but it clearly did not hit. The reason I marked it off was I wasn't planning to take this trade like at all, but we did have a major accumulation, and I saw this as a manipulation before distribution going lower. We did have this trend profile, so I was kind of hoping for a bit of a rejection so we could bounce off high time frame fair value gap. I believe we also had a couple lows stacked up. Yeah, like 3 lows right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 lows. Okay. So there was definitely a bit of liquidity resting down here, as well as the Asia low. But however, we did take the London lows and highs. So it's only the Asia lows and previous days lows just resting right there. So that's like, it's too far and it's just way too unrealistic. So I just didn't bother taking it. On silver, what was on silver? I think that was just a higher time frame, like fair value gap. That's a 4 hour, right? Yeah, 4 hour that we just respected, and then we never got down to the lower one. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that. I mean, ideal target would have been this 1 hour. Is this a 1 hour? No, this is. Dude, what the fuck is this? 15-minute? Yeah, it was a 15-minute. Okay. Well, there was a 5-minute inversion right here, and then just kind of pumped down, respecting this the premium zone of the 15-minute. Or not respecting, but it never crossed it on the 15-minute at all. So I respected this fair value gap and then just bounced off. Honestly, like if I was gonna take a trade, this one would have been ideal. Rejection off a 15-minute fair value gap. We got the IFEG, and then we pumped up, but entry would have been right here. then we went down, accumulated, then we distributed more. Still not the best trade to take. Yeah, no, that's not, definitely not a good trade. The fuck am I smoking? It's just like, what high is there to target? The 4 hour gap that's like still up here. Honestly, that might be the target for tomorrow, considering all this consolidation that we have. Okay. The fuck is this? Dude, what is this? What am I looking at? Why is there a big... I'm so confused right now. Dude, what? Yeah, so I think bias might be bullish for the day tomorrow. It'd be nice if we had like London and Asia and London would like pump down to this fair value gap on gold and then have a rejection off of this. So if we accumulate more during Asia, manipulate down to this fair value gap on London, and then distribute to this large 4 hour during New York. But we gotta get some good news to drop if we want any of that. Second, let me check Forex Factory. I think we have news dropping tomorrow. Yeah, we have CPI. Shit, so I can't even trade in the morning. Oh well. I mean, with CPI and, fucking all the war that's going on, I think. Oh, and the data candle. Yeah, I think tomorrow might be a good trading day around 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. after the data candle closes, and then we can probably expect the lower wick to get swept and then target the upper wick. So that'll be it. Honestly, kind of whack summary because I was mostly locked in on my job for most of the day, so didn't really analyze much. Should I have done more? Maybe. Yeah, but the market, it's like, I think there's definitely a lot of opportunity, but I just had to look into it way more. Like this rejection. But again, we had a fair value gap right here. So ES and NQ, they both didn't have this fair value gap. So it's just still an unfilled imbalance, and we're right next to it. So taking a trade before it gets filled is kind of stupid and would be more risky because it can always take out that low and target the imbalance. But yeah, probably. Well, the trade isn't actually too terrible. I think I'm just flaming myself for it because I feel like I wasted some time, and if I actually targeted a proper low, which is this one right here, I would have actually taken another win. So I shouldn't really beat myself up over that since I didn't lose anything. But it's like, whatever, really. So, just another day, I guess. That'll be it. Alright, thank you. Peace out.